Beautiful soul, that's you. Welcome to another edition of Treasure Tuesdays. Veronica here, coming to you with a powerful tool that Veronica Cresto, just got to apply in my own life. So I thought I would share it with you. I just finished a radio interview about 20 minutes ago, and as soon as I hung up the phone, yes, old school, an actual phone, on an interview, I felt deflated because I noticed the immediate thought that kicked in was I wasn't good enough. Or, the thought was I revealed too much, or I said too much, I didn't say enough. It was basically I'm not enough and my interview wasn't powerful, okay? So the reason I'm sharing this with you is because it is so important to be able to track that the only thing that ever pulls us into negative emotion is a thought that is incongruent with truth, that is incongruent with the real focus that we're here to pull our awareness towards again and again and again. And that focus is presence, the moment, love. In that moment, I hung up the phone, I immediately went into the past. The interview wasn't good. I'm not good enough because the interview didn't go well, which was all just a judgment. It was just an idea of wrong. Like I always say, out beyond ideas, out beyond ideas being a key word, mental ideas of right and wrong, there is a field, and I will meet you there. That quote is by Rumi, and it is the foundation of my life. And I even mentioned it on this interview. Basically, I went into a judgment, which immediately went into, I did something wrong, the interview didn't go well, blah, blah, blah. It was all a story. Meanwhile, during the interview, I was having a blast. It was fun. So I want to bring this up to you so you can notice in your own life. It's so important. Within a split moment, I was able to catch the thought, feel the negative emotion. The negative emotion is a clue. Something's incongruent here. And I was able to catch the thought. And I was like, that just doesn't feel good. And one person could perceive the interview as have gone terribly wrong. And another person could be so grateful for the content that was shared. And it's really, there are 8, I've heard this by Wayne Dyer, and it was so powerful. And I share this with you if you're a leader, which you are, or if you are already sharing your message in the world or want to. I'm committed to sharing more and more videos on how to help you break free and allow your voice to come out, because I'm devoted to really serving as a catalyst for more and more leaders of love and heart-centered, creative entrepreneurs to get your message out there, because we need more love in the world. Why not, right? So Wayne Dyer actually talks about that he has 8 billion reputations, or however many people are on the planet today, because every single person has a different perception of him. That has been very helpful for me as a speaker, as a leader, as someone who's putting myself out in public and sharing raw, authentic things. Because the truth is, no matter what you share in the world, no matter how you show up, you are not going to be quote unquote good enough in some people's eyes, and in other people's eyes, they're going to put you on a pedestal. And then the people who are actually awake, they're going to just see you. And there's no this or that. There's just, I see you. So I chose in that moment to notice that some thought in my head was pulling me into the past, and being that the present moment is my North Star, I came back to the present moment. And in the present moment, I had this impulse because I'm actually creating a video series today. And immediately I had the impulse, like, I don't have time to ponder whether the interview was bad or not. Like, there comes a point where there's no more time for the limiting thoughts. There comes a point where there's no more tolerance for the limiting thoughts. It's like the limiting thoughts come in and I don't need to entertain them anymore. I used to process them thoroughly and really look at them and just like dissect them. And that's great to a point, to have some level of self-inquiry, but the point of it being simply to be aware that there is a lie present and fear is trying to take over. The ego has pulled me into an illusion. So the treasure tool this week is, if you find yourself caught in a negative spiral about something that happened in the past or something that's going to happen in the future, like worrying about the future, the key is to catch it immediately. And that's really essential, because oftentimes once a thought takes hold and it's a negative thought and we buy it, we actually purchase it, believe it, digest it, engulf it into our system, then it's already spinning out the emotional body, and that just will have to run its course typically. So it's not about fighting it, it's just about feeling it, letting it move through you, and being aware that there's an illusion present, false evidence appearing real. That's fear. So for me, the treasure tool this week that I bring to you is to just notice immediately, like become an expert at noticing and mapping what your mind is doing, just being aware, not judging the mind, not judging the ego, not making it wrong. It's just a mechanism in the mind that tries to keep us in a state of fear or small so that we're safe. It's outdated, it's no longer needed, but the mind just kind of does that. I have many other videos on that, and actually I talk about it in detail in my book, The Diamond Process. Powerful processes to unwind that negative spiral. So the treasure tool is basically to catch this week, walk around with a journal, okay? And simply write down what pulls you out of presence, what pulls you out of the moment, what pulls you out of peace. For me, in that moment, it was a thought. I wasn't strong in that interview. I wasn't good enough. I showed too much of my vulnerability. It was an interview on relationship, and I really just spoke honestly about the challenges I've had in relationship and such. And it's life, it's relationship, and the perfectionist, the ego, that's really geared towards perfection didn't like that, clearly. So just simply write those things down and start to become more and more aware of those things, and then move forward. Keep creating, keep sharing. Anytime you're making videos, for example, the thing I find with my clients is when they start putting themselves out on YouTube, they get frozen because they hate what they've put out, or they're terrified, or they got a negative comment and they feel really hurt. The key is to keep producing, keep putting out. One video is like a grain of sand in the grand scheme of things over years, right? I look at certain videos of mine are really powerful and others are okay. And some of those that I think are okay actually have a profound impact on people, on one person, let's say. And that's enough for me. If it benefits somebody, it's enough. So the main treasure tool this week is to track in a journal all the things that are pulling you out of presence. As soon as you write those things down, you're immediately shifting to awareness, and it's dissolving the grip that those thoughts have on you. And then the second piece of this is to keep moving forward with what you love. Pamper yourself, take care of yourself, amp up self-care, do what you love. I'm creating a video series right after this video. I love making videos and I love sharing content. So as long as you're doing what you love, that will continue to refuel your reservoir. So even if you have moments of self-doubt, judgment, self-pity, whatever, it will literally be washed away by the power of creativity. You are here to create. You are a slice of divinity, and divinity is expressed through creativity. So let yourself be all that you are. Let yourself create and be a spiritual love warrior, and enjoy creating that flow journal, or that journal. I talk about the flow journal in the book. Really powerful practice. Just start mapping what pulls you out of presence, and then choose to lead with love. All right. I love you guys so much, and thanks for joining me. Huge hugs and embrace.